Most adults over 60 ignore this warning sign until it's too late. You might think those blue, twisting lines on your calves are just a natural, albeit annoying, part of aging. You see them, you hide them under long pants, and you go about your day. But what if those veins were actually a silent alarm, flashing red lights about your circulatory health that you've been trained to overlook? The truth is, varicose veins are far more than a cosmetic concern. They are the visible tip of an iceberg, a structural breakdown in your body's most complex plumbing system. Your veins. As we age, the integrity of our tissues changes, and the veins, responsible for carrying blood back to the heart, face an uphill battle every single day. Literally, gravity is a constant adversary, and when the tiny, one-way valves inside these vessels begin to weaken, the blood that should be heading upward starts to pool downward. This isn't just about appearance. It's about the very efficiency of your cardiovascular system. If you have ever felt that heavy, dragging sensation in your legs by mid-afternoon, you aren't just tired. You're experiencing the physical manifestation of venous insufficiency. In this deep dive, we are going to peel back the layers of this condition, moving past the common myths to the physiological reality. We will explore why this happens, how it progresses, and most importantly, why waiting for symptoms to become painful might be a dangerous gamble. By the end of this journey, you will possess a clear, actionable map to managing your leg health, ensuring that your foundation remains strong for years to come. But before we get into the solutions, we need to confront the reality of how these veins actually function, or in many cases, how they fail. To understand why veins become varicose, we must first appreciate the remarkable feat your body performs every time you take a step. Your heart pumps oxygenated blood through your arteries down to your feet, a task aided by gravity. But once that blood reaches your toes, it has to make a return journey. It must fight against the constant pull of the earth to get back to the heart and lungs. To achieve this, your body employs a brilliant mechanism. A series of tiny, one-way valves. These valves act like a staircase, opening to let blood flow upward and snapping shut to prevent it from sliding backward. When you walk, the muscles in your calves contract, squeezing the veins and pushing the blood through these valves. It is an elegant, highly effective system. However, as we cross the threshold into our 60s and beyond, several factors begin to degrade this system. The walls of the veins themselves are made of elastic tissue, and like a rubber band left out in the sun, this tissue can lose its snap over time. When the vein walls stretch, the valves inside no longer meet in the middle. They fail to close completely. Imagine a door that doesn't quite fit its frame. It lets a draft through. In your veins, that draft is actually blood leaking backward, pooling in the lower segments of the leg. This is the definition of venous reflux. As the blood accumulates, it creates pressure, forcing the vein to stretch even further and twist into those characteristic bulging shapes we see on the skin. But the real problem isn't the bulging vein you see, it's the hidden, systemic pressure that this reflux exerts on the delicate tissues of your lower legs. Many people believe that varicose veins appear overnight, but they are actually the result of a slow, progressive decline in valve function. Understanding this progression is key to shifting from passive observation to active health management. You see, the veins are not just passive pipes. They are dynamic participants in your metabolic health. Now, let's talk about the symptoms that often go unnoticed because we have become accustomed to them. Many of my patients over 60 tell me, "Doctor, my legs just feel old." But feeling old is not a medical diagnosis. It is a cluster of symptoms that often signals venous distress. Do you notice that by the time you sit down for dinner, your ankles look slightly swollen or feel puffy? This swelling, or edema, is a classic marker of venous insufficiency. The fluid has nowhere to go because the veins are struggling to move it, so it seeps into the surrounding tissues. It is a subtle change, often invisible in the morning but distinct by evening. Then there is the heaviness. Describe it as though you are walking through water or wearing invisible lead boots. It's that constant, nagging desire to prop your feet up on a footstool just to find a moment of relief. If you find yourself doing this instinctively, take note. That is your body asking for help. We also see frequent leg cramps at night, often mistakenly dismissed as simple dehydration or calcium deficiency. While those can be factors, the localized pooling of blood can cause the muscles to become ischemic, briefly starved of the blood flow they need to recover from the day's movement. Then there are the skin changes. Many people overlook subtle color shifts. A brownish, rusty discoloration around the ankles, or skin that feels unusually dry or itchy. This is known as stasis dermatitis. It is not just dry skin. It is inflammation caused by blood pigments leaking into the skin. If you are experiencing any of these, heaviness, swelling, nighttime cramps, or darkening of the skin, you are seeing the physical evidence of a system that is no longer working at full capacity. Ignoring these signs is where the true risk lies, as we move into the complexities of who is most at risk for more severe complications. You might be wondering, is this just my genetics, or am I doing something wrong? The answer is a bit of both, but understanding the risk profile can change your approach entirely. Certainly, genetics plays a massive role. If your parents struggled with vein issues, your own veins likely share a similar structural profile. But genetics is not a life sentence. It is a predisposition. The real game changer is our lifestyle. Particularly as we enter our 60s, the primary enemy of venous health is prolonged immobility. We live in a society that encourages sitting, long hours in front of the television, extended periods at a computer, or even just long rides in the car. When you sit for long periods, the calf muscle pump, the very engine that drives blood back to your heart, is turned off. You aren't contracting those muscles, so the blood sits stagnant in your lower legs. It is a setup for trouble. But there is another factor often overlooked: inflammation. Chronic, low-grade inflammation in the body, often linked to diet and metabolic health, weakens the connective tissues of the veins. Smoking and excessive alcohol consumption further degrade the elastin in your vessel walls. Additionally, being overweight adds an extra mechanical load, putting constant, high-pressure weight on the veins of the legs, forcing them to work twice as hard to return blood to the heart. It is a compounding effect. Each year of inactivity or poor nutritional support adds another layer of strain. So, how do we distinguish between normal, aging and a state that requires intervention? It comes down to one word: progression. If you are at a point where your lifestyle is restricted by how your legs feel, if you are skipping a morning walk because your legs don't feel up to it, that is the turning point. That is when we need to pivot from passive acceptance to proactive management. But what exactly does that look like? Let's examine the daily habits that can turn the tide. The path to healthier legs starts not in a doctor's office, but in the small, consistent choices you make within your own home. The first and most vital habit is movement. And I don't mean high-intensity training. I mean frequent movement. If you are watching a 30-minute television show, stand up during the commercials, march in place, do some calf raises, or simply rotate your ankles. Every time you move your ankle or contract your calf, you are essentially performing a manual pump of your circulatory system. You are physically pushing the blood up and out of your legs. Think of it as a reset button for your venous system. Another habit that changes everything is elevating your legs correctly. When you are resting, make sure your feet are above the level of your heart. Gravity is your enemy during the day. Let it be your friend at night. Even 15 minutes of elevation can significantly reduce the pressure that has accumulated throughout the day. Then there is the topic of compression. Many people have heard of compression stockings, but they rarely use them correctly. These aren't just socks. They are medical tools. They provide a steady, external pressure that supports the vein walls and helps the valves close properly. They essentially provide the structure that your veins are losing. When you wear them, you are preventing the stretching and the pulling before it even starts. But there is a secret that many don't know. You have to put them on first thing in the morning, before you get out of bed. Once you've been up and walking, the fluid has already pooled. You need to apply that support when your legs are at their most rested state. It is a simple adjustment, but it doubles the effectiveness of the therapy. These small daily rituals are the bedrock of long-term vein health, but they must be balanced with the fuel you put in your body. Nutrition is often the missing piece in the conversation about vascular health. We focus so much on the blood vessels that we forget about the blood itself and the inflammation surrounding those vessels. To maintain strong, elastic veins, your body needs specific building blocks. The first is bioflavonoids. You find these in colorful fruits and vegetables, blueberries, citrus fruits, dark leafy greens, and even a bit of dark chocolate. Bioflavonoids are powerful antioxidants that specifically target vascular integrity. They strengthen the walls of the capillaries and veins, helping them resist the wear and tear of daily use. Next, let's talk about hydration. When you are dehydrated, your blood becomes more viscous. It gets thicker, making it harder for your heart to pump and harder for your veins to return that blood upward. Many of us, especially as we age, lose our sense of thirst. We have to drink water by the clock, not by the craving. Finally, consider fiber. It might sound strange to link digestion to varicose veins, but it is a direct connection. Straining during bowel movements increases intra-abdominal pressure. That pressure is transferred directly down into your leg veins, acting like a dam, blocking the return flow of blood. A diet rich in fiber keeps digestion smooth and prevents that surge of pressure. It is about reducing the backlog in the system. When you look at your plate, ask yourself, does this meal support my circulation, or does it add stress to my pipes? It's a simple mindset shift that pays dividends. But even with the best diet and the most active lifestyle, there are still common mistakes that people make, mistakes that can actually make the situation worse. Let's look at those, because avoiding a negative can be just as powerful as adopting a positive. One of the biggest mistakes I see is the over-support trap. Some people think that if a little compression is good, a lot of pressure must be better, so they wear stockings that are far too tight or use restrictive bands. This can actually cut off circulation, causing more harm than good. Your circulation needs to flow, not be strangled. Another common error is heat. While a hot bath feels wonderful for aching muscles, heat causes your veins to dilate, to widen. When a vein widens, the valves are pulled further apart, making it even harder for them to close. If you are struggling with vein issues, opt for cooler or lukewarm water for your legs. Ending your shower with a quick blast of cool water on your calves can actually help tone the vessels. Then there is the mistake of fear-based inactivity. Some patients, upon noticing a varicose vein, become afraid to move, thinking that exercise will make it pop or get worse. This is exactly the wrong approach. The calf muscle is your second heart. If you stop moving, the second heart stops beating, and the veins lose their only defense. The secret is low-impact movement, walking, swimming, cycling. These exercises use the muscles to pump blood without putting jarring stress on the joints. And finally, ignoring the silent symptoms. If you have a spot that is constantly itchy, or a small area that feels warm to the touch, do not just apply a cream and hope it goes away. These can be early indicators of thrombophlebitis, a condition where a clot forms in a superficial vein. It is treatable, but it needs to be caught before it causes real damage. By avoiding these common traps, you are already ahead of 90% of the population. But when do these home strategies stop being enough? When is it time to take the next step and see a specialist? We all want to handle our health independently, but there is a clear line where medical intervention becomes necessary. If you are experiencing persistent, localized pain that doesn't subside with elevation or movement, you need to see a doctor. Pain is the body's way of saying the current situation is unsustainable. Another red flag is an open sore or ulcer near the ankle. This is an advanced stage of venous insufficiency. Because the blood has been pooling for so long, the skin has lost its ability to heal itself. If you see even a tiny, non-healing wound, please do not treat it with home remedies. It needs professional attention immediately. Furthermore, if your leg becomes suddenly red, hot, and swollen, this is not just a standard vein issue. It could be a sign of DVT, or deep vein thrombosis. This is a medical emergency that requires swift action. Now, what does a doctor actually do? Modern medicine has come a long way from the vein stripping surgeries of the past. Today, treatments are often minimally invasive, procedures like radiofrequency ablation or laser therapy that close off the diseased vein from the inside. The healthy veins then take over the work, and the blood flow improves almost instantly. It is elegant, quick, and highly effective. The key takeaway is this: you don't have to wait until you have an ulcer or severe pain to seek help. A vascular ultrasound is a simple, painless, non-invasive test that can look inside your legs and tell you exactly how your valves are performing. Think of it as a diagnostic map. Once you have that map, you and your doctor can decide on a strategy. Whether that is conservative lifestyle changes or a targeted procedure, knowledge, in this case, is truly the best medicine. As we wrap up, I want you to reconsider what you think about your legs. They have carried you through decades of life. They have endured miles of walking, hours of standing, and the inevitable effects of gravity and time. They are not failing you. They are simply showing the signs of the life you have lived, and they are capable of recovery. This isn't about vanity. It is about longevity. It is about ensuring that you stay mobile, independent, and active well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Every calf raise you do, every glass of water you drink, and every moment you spend elevating your feet is a deposit into the bank of your future mobility. You now have the tools to observe your body more accurately. You know that those blue lines are a call to action, not just a cosmetic nuisance. You know that heaviness in your legs is a signal, not just a fact of life. You understand that your calf muscles are a powerhouse that needs to be engaged. The journey to better vein health is a series of small, consistent steps. It doesn't require a radical overhaul of your life. It requires a shift in how you prioritize the health of your foundation. Start today. Look at your legs with new eyes. Notice the swelling. Listen for the sensations, and start the small, daily movements that make a massive difference. You are not just caring for your veins. You're preserving your freedom of movement. And that is a goal worth every bit of effort. Let's make a commitment to treat our legs with the respect they deserve. Because when your foundation is strong, the rest of your life stays vibrant. Many seniors ask me, if I start these changes now, will I actually see a difference, or is it too late? The scientific answer is an emphatic, it is never too late. Even if you have had varicose veins for 20 years, the venous system is incredibly adaptive. By relieving the pressure through compression, activity, and better hydration, you can reduce the swelling, clear up the skin issues, and significantly decrease the sensation of heaviness. The body has a remarkable ability to redistribute blood flow once you provide it with the right conditions. Think of it like fixing a clogged pipe in your home. The moment the blockage is cleared or the bypass is supported, the whole system flows better. You will likely feel a sense of lightness in your legs that you haven't felt in years. And don't forget the psychological aspect. When you stop worrying about the appearance or the pain, your entire mood improves. You are no longer dreading the afternoon slump. You are no longer planning your day around how much your legs will hurt. That freedom is the real reward. Keep a small log if you like. Note how your legs feel in the morning versus the evening. Record your activity. See the progress for yourself. It creates a feedback loop that encourages you to keep going. We often feel that our health is something that happens to us. But in the case of venous health, you're the primary driver. You have the steering wheel. Take control of your vascular journey. It is a vital part of the aging well equation that often gets pushed to the sidelines, but it is central to your daily comfort. Keep listening to your body. It is constantly giving you the information you need to thrive. There is a final, often forgotten aspect of leg health: the role of footwear. You might be surprised to learn that your shoes are either a partner or an opponent to your circulation. High heels, or even shoes with no support and completely flat, thin soles, can inhibit the natural movement of the foot. When your foot hits the ground properly, it helps trigger the calf pump. A shoe with good arch support and a cushioned sole allows for a more natural gait. This is crucial for the 60-plus crowd. A better stride means a more effective pump, which means better blood flow. It's not just about comfort. It's about mechanical efficiency. So, the next time you are shoe shopping, look for stability and support. Your veins will thank you for it. And what about supplements? I am frequently asked about horse chestnut or other herbal remedies. While some evidence suggests these can help with mild symptoms of venous insufficiency by strengthening vein walls, they should never replace the core habits of movement and compression. Think of them as a potential bonus to your primary strategy. Always check with your physician before adding any supplement to your routine, as they can interact with other medications you might be taking. The goal is to keep things simple, safe, and effective. We have covered a lot of ground today, from the basic mechanics of how your veins work to the specifics of how to keep them healthy. Remember the structure: the valves, the calf pump, and the pressure. Keep these in mind, and you will understand exactly why you are doing what you are doing. It's not just blind advice, it's physiology in action. Thank you for taking this time to invest in your health. We've explored the silent signals your body sends, the risks of inaction, and the empowering path of daily management. Your vascular health is a journey, and you are now better equipped to navigate it than ever before. If you found this information valuable, consider how it applies to your own daily routine starting tomorrow morning. Small, incremental changes are the ones that stick. You don't need to change everything by the end of the week. Start with one. Maybe it's that 15-minute elevation in the afternoon, or finally getting those properly fitted compression stockings. Whatever it is, take that step. Your legs are the engine of your independence, and they deserve your full attention. Stay curious, stay active, and keep prioritizing your well-being. The knowledge you have gained here is the first step toward a more comfortable and mobile future. We are all aging, but we can choose to do it with strength and grace. Your vascular health is a major part of that process, and now you have the map to guide you. Take that map, use it, and enjoy the result of a more vibrant, active lifestyle. You are in control of your health journey, and that is a powerful position to be in. Continue to advocate for your body. Listen to those subtle signals, and keep moving forward, one step at a time.